Boy, can I help you?
Listen up. I'm bringing you the best content to ever exist in the door-to-door industry, from sales, leadership, recruiting, and personal development.
Why would I need that?
Because never before have we been able to collaborate with the top experts in their industries, sharing their secrets and techniques on what makes them the best.
Wait, who are you?
I'm your host, Sam Taggart, creator of the D2D Experts and D2D Con. Is there a place we can sit down?
Well, come on in.
As the leading distributor of structural pest control, Univar provides training, services, and an arsenal of products to help you grow. Our 80 years of experience and industry-leading resource, pestweb.com, provide unmatched opportunities for your company to succeed. Learn more at pestweb.com or call 1-800-888-4897.
All right, I'm Sam Taggart with the D2D Podcast, and this is Dan Bajza. Is that how you said it?
Bajza,
Bajza, and Director, how do you say it? Director of Sales at Frontline Pest Control, right?
Yep.
Cool, I just want to make sure I have the title right.
Yep.
And you've been in the business for how long now?
This will be my 10th summer.
10th summer.
10th summer.
So veteran, seasoned veteran, knows how to take a no.
Yeah.
And what was your best summer doing pest?
I sold just over 523, I think.
Which is crazy, 520, and most of the people listening to this, watching this, have never done that, but now you manage over 60 sales reps, right?
Yep, 50 to 60 every year. Yeah.
Every year. So he still gets in the trenches, he still goes out there, hustles, and is one of the fun people I've gotten to know over the years in the whole pest game. So this will be exciting. Yeah. So let's dive in. How did you 10 years ago get into this space? Like what kind of got you into it?
Yeah.
What's that background there?
So I actually worked construction. I worked for my dad. He owns a drywall company in Colorado, delivering drywall. So I was like total manual labor, carrying drywall into houses. And my brother-in-law, now, wasn't at the time, he was just a friend. I married his wife's sister, did this, and I actually asked him about it because him and his wife lived in a house and both went to school at the time at BYU. And I would visit and never saw him work. He never went to work. So one day I just asked him, I was like, do you sell drugs? Or what do you do for work to be able to never work and both go to school? And anyways, he told me about it. And it was kind of tough to leave my dad. And I know he never resents me, but I'm sure he always raises his eyebrows every now and then with, I'm leaving, dad's business to go knock on doors and kill bugs. But it's been a blessing and I'm grateful I did.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So tell us some of the biggest, what has been one of the biggest challenging moments through your journey that you found throughout this 10 years that comes to mind when it's like, man, this year or this moment, this day, what pops to your head when I first say that?
Probably, honestly, balancing work and life. I'm a workaholic. I think my wife can attest to that I probably
like
work
this
too much.
If you were a workaholic.
But I like bettering myself. That's kind of the competition I'm in. I used to be an athlete, and that was part of it, right? I was constantly on the clock and racing with the next lap has to be faster, and the next one has to be longer, and it was always bigger, better, faster every day. That's what I grew up with. So I think taking that into this industry is addicting because it's an adrenaline rush, which I'm an adrenaline junkie. So it would be probably what comes to mind is balancing that with family life.
No, cool. That's probably what I would say if somebody asked me that question. So tell us a little bit about, one thing that we're going to dive into on this podcast, if you're watching or listening, is the focus was how to have an amazing summer, how to have a memorable, because obviously you've maintained and grown and built kind of this niche in Maryland.
Yeah. Every
year you go back, you have kind of the same crews and grow that. The real theme of this is really how to have an amazing culture in summer so that way people walk away coming back, excited, high numbers, etc.
Yeah.
So let's dive into a few different topics, and one of them being correlation meetings and how you run that. Another one being maybe some of the fun activities or the culture activity type stuff you do and that you found to be effective that other people may want to use in their life. So let's start with running correlation meetings.
Okay.
What things, if you had to list out key points and nuggets, it's I found over the 10 years of running a million meetings, showing the Will Smith video and that dude on the guy's back in the football game.
Eric Thomas.
Yeah, I've shown those videos a few times, right?
Yeah.
But what things have you found in a correlation meeting to really be effective?
Probably what comes to mind first is breaking up the monotony of it, right? You have a meeting every day. So making sure the biggest thing that I try to do to every rep is bring as much value as I can that day, which kind of goes back to preparation and that work-life balance. Like I'm always trying to be a better manager or leader or rep myself. So just bring as much value as you can every meeting. Like there's nothing worse than when it's July and your manager shows up, like I have, probably you have too, managed a lot of offices. So what did we talk about today? And you kind of just raise your hands and everyone's like, oh, they roll their eyes, like, well, why am I here? So the biggest thing is probably just have a structure so that it's consistent and reps know kind of what to count on. Whether that be like however your structure is, like we do accountability and competitions and what the daily incentive is, and we go over, a pest ID a day, or where we, train on bugs or products. There's a training every day and set goals. I actually wasn't ever a fan of the cheer, like quite a few years ago, like I was anti. But since I've started to do it, it kind of becomes the highlight. Like we pick someone every day that is like the yell leader, I guess you could say, or the cheerer. And they do their thing. Some are like really rowdy and like mosh pit style, and some are not as fun or rowdy, I guess you could say. But we try to change it up, kind of have a change of scenery. We make sure that reps get a chance to run trainings. We make sure that the trainings are fresh and relevant. We bring in guest speakers from the technical side of aspects, from the customer service side of things. Just trying to keep it changing. Okay. So that reps don't get burnt out by the everyday sitting in an office for 20 or 30 minutes. And probably the other thing too would be to condense correlation to keep it within reasonable time. Obviously in the beginning of the summer they're going to have to be longer with a lot of questions and new people. But one thing I found is I run a separate meeting. We call it our bagel meeting for anyone who has sold zero throughout different aspects of the week. We do two a week. That has helped me and my managers break up the 10, 20 questions that first year reps have that maybe some of the other reps don't need to hear.
Yeah, because they get bored and they're like, this thing, I get it, and the first years are like sucking, you're like, but you need this.
Yeah, so it allows us to have more one-on-one with the reps, and I think that's another valuable thing in helping rep retention and really just showing we care about them. That's one of the things that I pride myself on is when I recruit or when I take someone out, like I care about their individual well-being, and I tell them when I recruit them that I'm going to do everything I can to make them successful, but I can't do the work, but I can help them as much as I can, and giving them that one-on-one attention I found is nice, and obviously it helps them.
So let's rewind a little bit and slow down that meeting, because you went through a lot of things fast. Okay. I want to break it down to you open up the meeting. First, what time are your meetings typically?
So we open at noon most of the days. In the beginning of the summer, 2 weeks, maybe like 10:45 or 11. Okay,
so 12 o'clock meeting, and
first it starts at 12.
Starts at 12.
Yeah.
It's like if you're late, what happens?
Either it's varied. Every year it's been a little bit different. One year we charged. We did a Venmo. They had to pay me right then and there. It was monetary, it was small, but it made them aware. Wall sits, push-ups, burpees, whatever. Like they're doing something in front of everybody.
Yeah, because I think
sneak in late.
A lot of people, they don't realize how important it is to keep that time. It starts at 12.
Yeah.
And because it's so easy for your sales dudes to roll out of bed and show up 20 minutes late, and they're like, whatever. But it's just a disrespect. You know what I mean? So make sure that if you're running a meeting, it starts on time. If people are late, they're very aware of that. And so you start right on time. What's the first thing you typically do?
We go over yesterday's numbers.
Okay.
So it builds in accountability, right? So we have a board, like probably most offices do, that we have, and kind of to your culture, we've delegated someone what we call our numbers guy.
Okay.
So they're in charge of numbers for the week or the month or however we deem appropriate. And they're in charge. They kind of start the meeting. Music stops. We start every meeting before 12 with music, and hopefully, enhances the mood and kind of just loosens everybody up, wakes everybody up. And then
and I'd recommend delegating a team DJ even.
Yeah.
It's like they're in charge of music. You're not sitting there with your iPhone and trying to run the meeting and get your training together, It's just like you're the team DJ, and I hope you get passionate about it. So you have a DJ playing the music, come in, music stops, number guy starts, and then what?
Yeah, so we go through everyone's numbers, what they sold the previous day. We do a clap for every sale they made.
So if I got 3, you would do
clap.
Cool.
Yeah. And then, unfortunately, if they sell 0, we kind of boo.
What do you do?
We make noise, we boo. Or
boo!
We've gotten crazy in end of the years where, like we've thrown stuff, like hot dogs and stuff, like
that's
just
awesome.
ridiculous, just so like we don't want people to ever feel like it's par to get 0 or it's okay to get 0. Like, not that it's not, because it happens, right? Like, we've all had a bad day or...
I remember there was a day where I bageled. That was a day where everybody freaking was like, we get a good Sam. I'm just like, all right, let's hear it. You know what I mean? But like the culture though, I mean, that like the whole mode of this podcast is like the culture is everything. Because if the culture starts to become, it's okay, you know.
And that's
you
tough.
bageled for 5, 6, 7 days now, so just keep it up, man. Like,
go over the spouse training.
Yeah, exactly.
So we try to keep it as lighthearted as we can, and as much as we do, it still happens, obviously, like in every company. But we try to keep it fun, and with other meetings, help them and where they're struggling. But yeah.
So
after that,
you boo the bagels, you clap the big guys.
Yeah.
Do you have anything other unique about the numbers that you like, recognition or a special chair or a special chance or special anything? Okay.
No, and that's what I listen to a lot of your podcasts, and I've actually learned a lot of cool things, like the snake hole game I've never done.
Okay.
There was a chair brought up an idea one time, so I'm always trying to evolve again and make the next year or the next meeting better than the previous.
Yeah, comment on here. I want to hear people's best practices that are listening to this. Comment on the SoundCloud or iTunes or whatever you're listening on. I want to hear what everybody else does. Like, I think that there's like some awesome things out there that people could do to make their meetings fun. So after the numbers get done, do you have any other systems? You talked about equipment training or something like.
Well, so after that, then we go over like the current competition or any of the we call them level up in our like different levels that reps can achieve on their own. So outside of competitions and any other incentives, there's a summer long program, I guess you can say, where reps can become different levels by reading books and selling X amount on a Saturday or selling one past the time or before a time. Like, there's just different levels and requirements. As it goes harder, it obviously gets tougher.
Yeah, tell us a little bit more about that. I'm sure a lot of people listening are curious.
Yeah.
So you call it the level up.
Yeah.
It lasts all 4 months or 5 months or whatever. And you sell, like, what's the first level? Like, sell your...
Yeah, so our first level we want done preseason. So it's memorize, all of our training materials and have that ready to go, complete sign-on paperwork and all the direct deposit information. So we purposely set that up.
So it's like, sweet, I'm level 1.
Yeah, and there's different prizes. They're very small. Like, it's not for prize, you know what I mean? Like, you go sell 5, like, you're not doing it for a watch or for a wristband or a shirt. Like, you sold 5 to sell 5, but the recognition is another thing. And
so it's like once they hit level 2, they get a shirt, and once they hit level 3,
gas cards and gift cards and various others. Like, they're small items, obviously, but they're.
But it's
they're
the pride of being,
Yeah.
dude, I'm at level 7. What level are you at?
Yeah, for sure.
So what are like? How do you display this somewhere in the office? Is there some kind of like?
Yeah, we have a big poster that once a rep has completed one of the individual tasks, he gets up at that point. So someone will be running the meeting after the numbers guy and say, okay, it's level up. Who's leveled up? And then it's on them. It's on the reps to track to figure out what is next needed, whether they need to sell 3 on a Saturday or sell 1 before 1:30 or whatever is next. Then it's their job to stand up. They actually bubble it in like with a dry erase marker, and then if they've completed the level, then they get the prize that day.
That's
so
cool.
There's like 3 to 4 tasks that each level is needed
Per level.
Yeah.
Anything else? So level up, and then what in the correlation meeting?
So then either before or after that competitions. We've gone both ways.
So
once
do
a
you,
competition.
as the director, are you the one that's making up the competitions? Are you the one that? Okay.
I mean, essentially yes, but like I have a great people under me and above me, the owners and stuff that help, and we're obviously trying to improve and try to make competitions funner and that sort of thing. But yeah.
So what are some of the best competitions that you've done for your team? Like, I'm sure you've tried all these different things where you're like, man, this one was a winner. People bought in, people loved it. Like, what are some of the best ones you've seen?
2 come to mind. One is like a March Madness bracket style head to head. But we do handicap first year reps compared to experienced reps. So it all just depends on what they did the previous week and month and stuff to kind of handicap them. Just try to make it more fair so that not the same guys are winning who dominate. So We try to do that, which is always a big one because that's a big.
So it's 1v1,
1v1, yeah.
double elimination type
Yeah.
of stuff.
Yeah.
How long have you seen? It's better to do like a 1-day comp or like a 3-day comp or like a week and then a week. Like, is there a certain time limit on like a March Madness bracket that their tournament run, like this round runs X days? Have you seen?
So we base it on how many reps we have.
Okay.
So we determine it. We try to make it last the whole month. So we call it like June or July Madness. So once we figure out how many reps are there at that point, then we bracket it off and decide how long each round goes.
Okay, cool. Any other ones? You said another one. Can you?
We call it best ball. So any golfers out there like this, I guess if you're a golfer and have played best ball or scramble.
That's the only way I can play golf. It's like 1 out of 3 shots ends up on the fairway. So therefore, if I'm playing with 4 guys, I'm like, all right, don't make this one your one shot that ends up on the fairway, and I'll do it.
Yeah. So in most scrambles, there's an A, B, C, D player.
Yeah.
And usually you need to take, the C players drive twice or the D players drive twice.
Oh, okay. I like this.
In the thing. So we would structure team A, B, C, D, 4 people teams, and it's strategic. So everyone sells every day. And at the end of the day, that team has to decide whose score they're going to use. Every score needs to be used twice, every person's score. So it brings a little bit more strategy to it. Like if an A rep sells 10, but your D rep who never sells 2.
It's like, do I want to use?
Do you want 2 or the 10? Yeah. So there's
That's
a little
cool.
bit. Yeah, there's a little bit more strategy to it. So the team has to communicate, which builds a little bit more, culture and that aspect of it.
Okay, so let's say I'm running this best ball tournament.
Yeah.
As a director or company, whatever, how do you track that? Like the scores, and how do you display it to your people? Do you have like technology that does it? Is it manual? Like how do you do that?
We base everything obviously on service accounts. A sale to us is nothing unless it gets serviced. So we do next day sales. So if they sell it on a Monday, they get serviced on a Tuesday. So while the tournament would start on a Saturday or a Monday, their score doesn't technically count till Tuesday when that customer gets serviced. So there's a little bit of a hardship in scoring everything, just in case there's a schedule out or something. There's always improvements that need to be made. But generally we rank everything on an account is a sale, but it has to be on APay. So we used to have this like algorithm that we did that if the contract value was above this, it was worth this many points, and if it had APay, it was worth this many points, and then you had like a cumulative score, for each account. But that just got too messy, and it's 2018 now. Where we selling in? So really, it's on us. It's an account on APay. If it's not on APay, it really doesn't count for much, anyways, because we know it's not gonna get paid on it anyways. It's just a feel good sale. So yeah, that's how we score it.
Cool.
And we use Sales Rabbit on it.
So does Sales Rabbit track that for you?
Yeah, you can set up like a competition time table, set up teams and stuff to kind of score it.
That's awesome. So fun tips. Like I think a lot of people. It's funny. The audience in here is either teeny little company, there's big companies, so it's fun to see just like different practices. So let's talk a little bit more activities, right? So, let's finish the correlation meeting. Okay. So you do you talk about, hey, where are we at on the competitions? Who's winning? You suck. You're winning. Good job. Rah rah. Fight up. And then what?
So then it goes to a training. So I have a training topic every day. So again, to kind of alleviate the 15 questions, like, oh, what does this company do? And what does that company do? And then everyone's just kind of sitting there who doesn't need to know, like, oh, here we go again, right? Like, so I have a very specific, like, we're training on the spouse objection today. And I will do it, and we'll have people role play it. It lasts, the training, maybe 10 minutes, 12 minutes. Like, it's pretty short, condensed. It's one bullet for the day. If you weren't good at this, this is what we're training on today. And then after that, we set goals. We do numbers again. So how many are people going to sell? If there's any incentives based with that, any daily incentives based on goals or anything. And then we do a cheer. Or in the meantime, I guess there's another step that can be added is like a motivational thought or video.
So let's talk role play for a second. A lot of people when you first say, hey, we're going to role play, half the team's like, okay, and half the team's like, oh, really? I hate that. Like, I can do it in the field. Like, where have you found effective practices and role plays? Like, is it better to do like me versus you? Is it better to be kind of in groups and these guys observe? Is it better to do them in the hot seat? Like, what have you found effective on a role play?
We do a little bit of everything. So that's kind of what's nice is in the meeting, it's a customer and one person. So maybe there'll be 2 examples given. And then everyone has to give feedback. We actually go around and everyone has to say something they liked, something they didn't, or something to improve on, whatever. So there's that setting, and then in other meetings and stuff, there's more one-on-one stuff with less feedback and more just the manager's opinion or my opinion. But in the meetings themselves, it's everyone kind of is their audience.
Cool. Okay, so now let's transition into culture as an office, right? So like, what are some of the best practices to keep your office unified? Because I call it like summer mutinies. Like there's been summer mutinies. I don't know if one of the years you had one, but I know like I've seen it where a group of like 10 guys all say like, we hate Dan and blah, 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 and turn the whole culture against you, and you're sitting there like,
yikes. Yeah.
Just lost control of my office. Like, what do I do?
Yeah.
And, they're going to the movies or they're going out and strip club or whatever, right?
Yeah.
And you're like, what is happening?
Yeah.
So, like, what are some things you do to kind of unify your group?
So we try to have a lot of fun. That would probably be one of the things that we try. And we obviously are constantly improving, but like May, we try to play soccer on like Wednesday, or we pick a day where there's a soccer field pretty close to our apartment. So one day we go play soccer and there's no meeting in May because it's still a little bit cooler. It's nice to kind of be running around, get your sweat going before the day starts. So that's one thing. We try to also have competitions to help. Those are obviously big ones. And then we usually do a couple things during the summer to break it up. Like we spend time together as an office on Sunday. We have the luxury of selling in DC. So in the beginning, we travel to DC as a company if people can or want to. Go to DC and travel and kind of go sightseeing in downtown DC. Go check out the museums and some of the cool stuff that particular city has to offer. But then we do things like we do concerts as a company. Like so, if we hit this goal this month, we'll go to this concert.
Oh, that's cool.
Or this event, or we do paintballing, or we do just little. Try to break it up. So I try to have and try to structure in an activity a month. Yeah. So with school schedules, it's really about a 3.5 month summer for most of our reps. So we have usually 3 activities. We've done things like we go to like Virginia Beach over July 4th sometimes, and just spend a Friday night, Saturday, Sunday there.
Oh, that's cool.
Depending on when it falls, or try to spend a couple days there, just breaking the
Mix it
monotony.
up.
Yeah. Just because I think. You want to make sure that your reps feel appreciated above and beyond anything, but that it just shows that you care. And we try to mold our reps into like, we work really hard, but when we work, we expect you to work. But then when it's not time to work, we can have a lot of fun too. Yeah. Work hard, play hard. But to answer your question, as far as like mutiny and having people hate different groups and stuff, I just have like a philosophy that I try to teach, and that's just. You may not have everyone like you, but you need to have everyone respect you.
I like that. It's a nugget.
Yeah.
Write it down.
So as a manager, that's kind of what I try to help my managers do. Is like, they may not like you because that's just human nature. You may not like everyone, but if you're respectful and they can respect you as a manager, you'll always have their respect in one way, shape, or form. So we try to make sure that our actions map to maintaining respect and honesty and integrity, and a lot of those things are some of the core principles that we live by as a company. Try to dictate our reps and culture through our values. But that would be my nugget, I guess, would be to.
I love it. So to wrap things up, if you were to give one big piece of advice to the door-to-door industry, what would it be? Like over your 11 years. So if you're listening to this, guys, he's done it a while. He sold a heck of a lot of accounts, managed a heck of a lot of people, recruited a lot. Like if you had to say, okay, over the 10 years, the one major overlying thing and advice that I would give would be what?
Don't quit. Like on a daily, weekly, monthly, yearly basis. We track everything since we've been able to incorporate, data tracking with people talked to and, doors knocked and that sort of thing. Like we track a lot of numbers, and a lot of our, things are data driven versus, being more subjective. They're more objective, like numbers are numbers. So like, for instance, a lot of our sales reps need to talk to, 15 to 25 people as a first year sales rep to make a sale. But so many of them quit on person 22 or person 46, right? And they have one sale, but they're 7 people short to equal that number of getting 2 sales. So it would be like, the nugget would be just don't quit on the day. Like talk to the people you need to talk to. Don't quit on what you said you were going to do. Maintaining that commitment and just your overall just see things through. Like so many times I've seen reps want to quit and do quit, or then they come back. And I mean, especially at door-to-door con, I mean, how many of those leaders that we were hearing from had those stories where like, I was driving home and my manager called me, and now here I am making, the leader of this company, or the owner of this company, or the, regional of this company. So you don't know what is next after that comfort zone, and pushing past that on a big and small basis is where you find yourself and find growth and opportunity. But a lot of people, I find, quit and back down before they can gain the experience.
It's huge. And it's so funny because, I just did another podcast that no one's seen or heard yet, and it was about a girl. And if you listen to this one before you listen to this one, you're going to hear the story twice, so here it goes. But I had a girl work for me. Her name was Amy. So big shout out if you're watching this, Amy. And she sold like 12 accounts all summer. Like it was like 4.5 months, 12 accounts. And I was like, what the heck? Like I'm telling her to quit. I'm like, I'm quitting for you, please. And this was in 2015 maybe. And this last summer she did 300 accounts.
Wow. That's awesome.
And I was like, what? Like, no. And I was like, I need to like get like what?
Yeah.
But it was just this, she had this mindset of like, it was funny because she just slowly got better and slowly, she just added more every day, and she broke through the uncomfortable to where she finally got some confidence, and she kept going, and she's like, wow, ding, and then she got better, ding, got better.
Yeah.
And I think it's cool, and it's a testament to like people that are looking for this comfortable way to be successful.
Yeah, they're
not going to find it.
Yeah.
And I think we've all have our own story of that, where it's kind of like, geez, life's not hard to get where you are. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't know who says it, but the 10,000 hours to be a master. Do you know who Maxwell?
It's in the Outliers book or whatever.
Maxim Gladwell.
Yeah.
But yeah, like it does take that much, and if you don't quit, like there's so many times where I wish I could instill what I know into reps, that I see those stories, so many times, and hero stories like that. But it's like, but if you quit, whatever the reason is you're quitting, it's not going to go away. Like if you're quitting because your girlfriend is miserable, or you're whatever, you miss home, like the next time your girlfriend is missing you or whatever, or you miss home or something happens, it's going to happen again. You're going to quit again, and you're going to quit again, and you're going to quit again, and you'll never overcome that. And that's just like a principle that this job can teach you.
Yeah, what a lesson to be learned. And I think anybody listening to this, like, hope you're listening to this in like mid-May when you're about to quit.
Yeah.
It's like, I hope that's when you found this podcast, because at the end of the day, I would rather have somebody stay the whole summer and prove to themselves they're not a quitter.
Yeah.
And just that win, even though they made 10 grand or 5 grand or whatever it is, it's like that win of them sticking through something.
It's going to be 10 times more beneficial than quitting.
Exactly. And
regardless of what money they made or didn't make.
Because they're breaking a pattern that they probably had already had
for
in
sure.
the past.
Yeah, no, that's huge. And that's something that is going to come up in life every time, right? Like when things get hard, you can't have the quit be easy. Like that's the easiest way out, right? Like just quit, hide yourself, back down, whatever. But like as soon as you overcome, as small as the challenge may be, and it's a daily struggle, right? Like that comes down to decision making. But if you're able to conquer that fear of quitting on it, like I don't want to go knock, I don't want to get out of my car, right? And you win that battle, you get out. I don't want to go knock 2 more doors, it's 9 o'clock, and you win that battle. Like those are little tiny steps to get you success and to build confidence in yourself, to go from a 50 rep to a 300 rep. Like it doesn't happen like that. It's those small wins, it's the compound effect by Darren Hardy, that add up to now I'm a 300 account rep. It's not one thing. It's not I said this and the magic spell, I sold everyone I talked to. It's like I won this battle, I won this battle, I won this battle, I won and conquered this. I didn't quit here, I didn't quit here, I didn't quit here, and now here I am.
Yep. Okay, well that was awesome. Fun nugget. Write that down. Rewatch this. That was awesome. So I like kind of almost got like it hit home for me in weird ways, and I can tell you
everyone can relate for sure.
It even relates to me now.
Yep.
So like this, Dan, thank you so much for being on the show. This was really fun. And hey guys, I want to give him even a bigger thanks because we just spent the last 2 hours recording the pest control piece of DDDU. So if you're part of DDDU and you signed up for an account, you're going to see a lot of Dan. Dan's face is going to be all over that thing. So
hopefully it looks good and
yeah,
it's crazy, right?
Exactly. So we literally went through every step of his pest control sales. So what an abundant guy to just be willing to say, hey, I'd like the world to know how to really do it right, honest, and effective, so that everybody can become better. So thanks for exactly. Let's get all better. So thank you so much.
Yeah.
Love you guys. Yeah.